An atheist who is actually consistent. Part 1, morality. There are no consistent atheists. You're all hypocrites. The only ones with the exception are atheist babies. But why are they atheists? Because they're too stupid to not be atheists. An atheist who is actually consistent. Part 2, design. Reddit is shit. Why? Because of the atheists running that show. That cesspool of willful ignorance and pseudo-intellectualism. And then YouTube suppressing me because I oppose atheism and other satanic lies. YouTube ruined my videos so you wouldn't know the truth. Almost everyone will go to hell. Atheists can't handle the truth. Illogic, an atheist preacher, crushed in debate. So this guy attacked me by lying about my argument, as you can see in that series. If you want to see an example of how atheists debate, which is like snakes. Liberals hate justice, and of course many atheists are liberals. Most of them actually. Atheism itself being a liberal doctrine. Liberal means free. Free from what? Free from the truth? You're not free from the truth. The truth will get you later. Dishonest atheist tactic, denying being atheists. Exposed. Oh, I'm not an atheist later. I'm agnostic. That's just a subcategory of atheist. You're splitting hairs. And why do they deny being atheists? Is because that way they can act as if they're invincible, as if I can't touch them, and invisible as if I can't detect them. When you can't see your enemy, you can't attack them, right? So they want to pretend to be that way. But I know exactly where you are. Evil atheist unleashes his sock puppet account when I checkmate him. So atheists are very dishonest, talking about morality here. And not just a few, it's most of them. Actually, all of them except babies. Some desperate lying atheist flagged my video as pornographic despite zero pornography. What atheists are willing to stoop to? Snakes. Atheist coward checkmated fast when they claim atheism is only lack of belief. Yet another atheist, coward. Cowardice is not a virtue, atheists. Eternal hell for limited sins is just. Here's why. So another atheist argument defeated. Proof slavery is not wrong. I checkmate an anti-slavery hypocrite and challenge all. I forgot what else was in the title. If you're against slavery, you're a gullible hypocrite. Slavery types. Shackled. Master provides shelter and food. Oh, the horror! I never hear atheists whine about prisoners of war existing. They are slaves. They even have shackles in many cases. Or, handcuffs, same thing. So you're a bunch of hypocrites, atheists. And you get your ethics from the divided snakes of America, one of the most evil countries that has ever existed. How many people has the U.S. murdered? Mixed slave, that's another type of slavery. Or slave type. Child must obey the father and mother, which makes them a slave. Wife must obey the husband. I know atheist wives are bitches who don't want to submit to the cuck husband because atheists are cucks. I get it. I understand that your ethics are different and inferior. I get that. Citizen must obey the police and governors. Belief in lies such as that of atheism. The best slave believes he's free. Makes them easier to control. Debt is slavery. So slavery never ended, and not all slavery is wrong. If someone owes you money, they're your slave. They have to pay. They have to give it to you. They are not free, which makes them your slave. And they have to give it to you one way or another. Even if they're moving around and they have no shackles, there are still invisible shackles called debt. Self-righteous atheist scared of a Christian's question. I'm just one Christian, and there are countless atheists. You're hordes of zombies, and I'm not afraid of any of you. Is it including Hitchens? Not just because he's dead. If he was alive, I wouldn't be afraid of him, because all his arguments are shit. And he would, of course, try to deceive the audience by dismissing my argument, changing the subject, things like that. Is it an absolute truth that there are no absolute truths? Because atheists don't believe in absolute truths. They believe that morality is pulled out of our asses. Science doesn't say that evil exists, except as perhaps a construct of humans. Not even that. But in the atheist paradigm, that's what morals are reduced to. A buffet of opinions, which negates their power entirely, other than as enforced by bigots like the police. freedom of speech is an evil doctrine because liars have no right to lie, but in atheist countries like the secular and therefore atheistic divided snakes of America, liars have the right to lie because atheists have low standards and they're accomplices to liars. Hitchens naively believed in democracy, which is the stupidest system of government because it's literally an ad populum bandwagon fallacy. Hitchens was objectively an idiot. Democracy defender checkmated fast. Do what thou wilt is generally the message of Pisney and other media. You know, mainstream garbage tells you, don't submit to God, reject God, fight God. Dragon Ball Z says that. Pisney says consort with fallen angels, do witchcraft, basically. Follow your heart, do whatever you want. That's what criminals do. But that do what thou wilt. Every atheist does what they will because all of their morals, when it boils down, is doing whatever they want. They cherry pick their ethics. You're a bunch of self-righteous people yet claim to be good. According to yourselves, you're good. That doesn't mean anything. Anti-family guy. This is a family that follows atheist principles of doing whatever they want. Secular/atheistic shithole. Glad I left it. There's no justice in the United States, except rarely. So, look at this video comparing atheistic California with Spanish creationist California before, when thieves were not rewarded with free vacations at taxpayer expense. Atheist countries are shitholes. Vikings then versus now. Because Scandinavia became atheistic thanks to some communist influence, but also Napoleonic influence and other libtard influence, they became atheists. And because they became atheists, they became soft and mentally weak to the point that they invited Islam to take over their women. Creationist Scandinavia, manly. Atheist Scandinavia, cucks. Now, Christopher Hitchens allegedly said, and it seems legit, if you look at any Muslim society and you make a scale of how developed they are and how successful the economy is, it's a straight line. It depends on how much they emancipate their women. Really? Well, correlation is not causation, dumb dead guy. Feminism actually made nearly everyone's wages drop because of the near doubling of the workforce, the slaves. When every boss now has twice as many people applying for the job, that means they can pay less. Congratulations, you played yourselves, liberals. But Hitchens didn't understand supply and demand, yet he was the smartest atheist of modern times, or one of the smartest. This is the best you can do? Someone who doesn't understand basic economics? So Hitchens said everyone's going to start wanting to be the victim. It will be unstoppable. He's talking about liberals, you know, like atheists generally are. He's talking about atheists. He's going to complain. He foreshadowed that many atheists and liberals who act like atheists, heretics, libtards, they're going to start acting like they're the victims and sue people because their feelings were offended, because of their self-righteous, cherry-picked morality, which all atheists share in acquiring in their own version, because it's always cherry-picked. Called it 26 years ago. Anyone could have said that, guy. It's not remarkable. Anyone could have said, oh, someone, you know, they lied and they got rewarded for it. Other people would do that too. Anyone can say that. It's not remarkable. But you have 2.6 thousand not smart atheists giving a like to this shit. Atheism led to this. Feminism grows in atheist soil. His delusion of atheism is the basis for more delusions. Feminism is idiotic. On homosexuality, the hypocrite Hitchens didn't care about zoosexual rights with consent by body language. You cannot use the consent card. I preempted that. Also, necrophile rights with consent written in a will before the person died, preemptively. So you can't use a consent card in either case. So why don't you give rights to people who have sex with animals? Why don't you give rights to people who have sex with corpses of their spouse or whoever, if they gave permission in written form prior? Why are you not consistent, atheists? You're a bunch of hypocrites. Your morality is a joke. Abortion is unjustifiable in the case of rape. On abortion,
I do, as a humanist, believe that the concept unborn child is a real one, and I think the concept is underlined by all the recent findings of embryology, by the early viability of a well-conceived human baby, one that isn't going to be critically deformed, or even some that are, will be able to survive outside the womb earlier and earlier and earlier. And I see that date only being pushed back. And
although Hitchens was against most abortions, it seemed, he did say people shouldn't murder the unborn child. He was still ambiguous as to when exactly a human begins. Where is the personhood? In other words, he was ambiguous because he was a coward. On ethics, he was a clown. He didn't even have a solid, he didn't have clarity, let alone solidity. He just had self-righteousness and opinions. This is not someone you should follow. This is someone who doesn't even know where he is. I miss this guy so much. Circumcision is mutilation. And don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking otherwise. Cry about abortion as atheists commit hypocrite. Murdering a child is a real crime. Hitchens is equivalent to a politician kissing a baby for the cameras and then dropping it later. Pretending to care about babies is the attitude of a deceptive snake. Glad God killed him. He is now in hell. So he was in favor of some abortions, which meant that he was a murderer. There is no justification for murdering a zygote. A zygote is a human in development according to science, which most atheists don't accept. Therefore, killing a zygote is murder. But this guy was ambiguous. He didn't want to say that. He was afraid.
God did not create man in his own image. Evidently, it was quite the other way about, which is the painless explanation for the profusion of gods and religions, the fratricide both between and among faiths, that we see all about us, that we see all about us, and that has so retarded the development of civilization.
Actually, war and fear of it is the number one reason for technological advancements, you ignoramus. And counterfeit nominal Christians murder. Real ones generally don't, and if they do, they would repent. I never heard of a real Christian who murdered. I've heard of heretics like Catholics murdering. They're known for that. When they had power, they did that. Now they're weak, and they're afraid of atheists because they're cucks, because they're liberals, because they are cherry pickers and they do whatever is popular. Back then, Catholicism was popular. Now it's popular to be a hypocrite Catholic. Either way, they're always hypocrites. So if you judge by Jesus' definition of who is a Christian, he said, few are chosen. Also, you are my friends if you do as I say. If you obey Jesus, then you're a Christian. Those who do not obey Jesus, they are not Christians, they are liars. Since Jesus said few are chosen, few are his followers, that means a puny minority of the world is Christian. There's no such thing as a Christian country. That would require the majority there to be Christian. But according to Jesus' own definition of who follows him, oh, that's right, atheists will say, oh, Jesus, your friends list is wrong. We will determine who are your friends. No, atheists, you bigots. Jesus determines that, and he gave the definition. So, by his definition, Catholics are not Christians. Therefore, your accusation against Christians is ignorant, and you are gullible to take them at their word when they claim to be Christians. This retard, Hitchens, conflated all religious people. That's a hasty generalization fallacy. Always fallacies, always illogical.
Philosophy begins where religion ends, just as by analogy chemistry begins where alchemy runs out, and astronomy takes the place of astrology.
No, that's rich coming from an alchemist on crack. Because the atheists lie that life came from non-life is alchemy on steroids.